How does he get out of this mess that he protects himself from social media? How do you protect yourself from social media? Remove yourself from all forms of social media, except for that which is absolutely necessary for you. Because you all know how tempting it is just to open the phone and just spend hours and hours and hours looking at nonsense. Going from one page to another page to another page, just looking at what's happening in this place, this footballer, that gamer, that singer, that actor, this member of the royal family, that member of the royal family, this president. That's how hours and hours of your life can just be spent like that. And the younger you are, the greater the propensity to be glued to these devices. Such that a person, he begins looking at it, and when he looks away, 2 or 3 hours have passed. 2 or 3 hours of his life have passed, and he has not benefited. Just like that narration of Aisha radiallahu anha, like a woman married, like a woman whose husband is like an emaciated camel at the top of a mountain. Hard to climb up and not worth the bother in the end anyway. So we say that these devices that you have with you, that you have to protect yourselves from being engrossed with them. And the younger you are, then the more likely you are to fall for the enticement of the mobile device and for social media, because they are predominantly aimed at younger people, because the audience is more captivating, and that's why much of what you see on there is aimed at young people, made by young people for young people, owned by old corrupt people. So beware, barakallahu feekum, that it is something that is engaging, because the eyes are drawn to it. The way that they design them, that you finish one video and a second video starts on the back of it immediately. That is connected to what you've already watched. So then you think, well, the last one was only 2 minutes. This one's only 2 minutes. Then that finishes, and then it goes to the next one. These are things that they build into these devices. They're built in so as to keep the young people addicted. And then imagine when it comes to this idea, this thing about developing the mindset of the shabab and the youth. So they will direct you towards that which they want for you. So these platforms and these social media companies, that when they design the material that they design, like for example TikTok or Facebook or YouTube and so on, that one leads you to the next so that you remain glued. And all of this is going through the eyes and sinking. It's affecting the minds, affecting the thinking, the thought processes, affecting the hearts. So then you begin to love what you're watching. Then you become more engrossed because they want you to join. You are part of a community now. So most youth today, I don't even say some, most of the youth today have more online friends than they have real friends. They have more friends that they have not met than friends that they have met, if you can call them friends. And that is a problem, because that has never been the case in the history of humanity. In the last 10 years, that's all it is. We have shifted from a society where contact used to be person to person, speech, talking to a person that you can see in front of you, that benefits you and you benefit him. Now that has changed such that the community around you is smaller than what you have online. And your engagement with them is more than people, most youth. We used to say, well, some of the youth, or a minority of the youth. Nowadays, most of the youth have a greater engagement with acquaintances online than they do acquaintances in real life. And that is a sad situation, because that means that those who have an influence, and that's why you have this, this idea of social influencers and social influencing. There's a reason. Advertising is done to influence you. Whatever you see on social media is to influence you. And you have social media influencers. It is like a career choice for many people. There was a survey done not long ago where youth from the age of about 14 up to 18 were asked, what do you hope to do in your career? And in one survey, the majority of those who were interviewed said a career choice for them was to become a social media influencer. So they see this as a career for them, that they want to be. They don't know anything. They have no ilm. So how do they become influencers? What they mean by influencers is that basically they want to be entertainers. Because now you don't have to go through acting school anymore. You don't have to go through BBC or ITV or some of these big channels that used to be around in the old days. Now you can make your own channel that is more popular than maybe even some of the official media channels. And you find that happening. So the youth are attracted to that. But where's the benefit in terms of their spirituality? Where's the benefit in terms of their nearness to their Lord and Creator? Where's their rectification in their morals and manners and behavior and conduct? Where does that come from? Because everything is open-ended. Because influencers are influencers. They're the ones who influence others. They're the ones who make the theories. They're the ones who make the ideas. They're the ones who tell you what's good for you as men. They're the ones who tell you what's good for you as women, or in between the two, or neither of the two, depending on what they're trying to influence you with. So how does a Muslim or any person who has traditional values and loves to return back to those traditional values, how does he get out of this mess that he protects himself from social media? How do you protect yourself from social media? Remove yourself from all forms of social media except for that which is absolutely necessary for you. And as far as I can see, if you have a Twitter account where you are following some of the masajid and marakis and mashayikh of Salafiyya, that's all you need. From there, you go to their websites. So from there, for example, if you want to know, what's the latest article that Sheikh Abu Iyad has written, you follow the Twitter account and it will take you to his article. Now you've gone from there to something that is wholly owned by a Salafi or by Salafis. You following, for example, Salafi publications on Twitter, Salafi pubs, and an audio is released. The link will take you straight to a website that is wholly owned and controlled by Salafi publications. Same with Germantown, same with, Troyd and other organizations. As for having a TikTok account, delete it. Delete the app. Delete the app, apart from the fact that it is very, very sinister. The application itself, the software itself is extremely sinister in its desire and what they wish to achieve in terms of programming the people to behave a certain way, to act a certain way, in short bursts, catch your view, 30 seconds, 1 minute, and they've caught, you've been captured. You think that you're being entertained, but actually they're drawing you into something. Delete TikTok from your phones, apart from the fact that, there's this issue of spying and interference and, encroaching upon your devices itself, which is a point in itself. And likewise, there is no need, in reality, to be honest, if I was going to be brutally honest, there's no need for YouTube. There's no need for it. Okay, if you've broken your radiator at home and you want to figure out how to fix it without paying a plumber £200, yeah, you can go to a YouTube video where a plumber shows you how to fix a radiator. I understand that. But YouTube as entertainment is a waste of time. YouTube for knowledge, to be frank, is more harm than good. Why? Because Sheikh Rabi has a website. Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen has a website. Sheikh Al-Fawzan has a website. Sheikh Bin Baz has a website. Abu Iyad has a website. Abu Hakim has a website. Abu Khadija has a website. Salafi publications have their websites. Germantown has their website. Troyd has their website. Whatever you need in terms of beneficial knowledge is there. Mashayikh have websites. So my nasiha to the brothers is actually, unless there is some practical reason why you need YouTube, you don't need to go to YouTube. You definitely don't need things like Netflix and BBC and all of those channels. You don't need any of that. I actually don't believe that you even need, frankly, you don't need Twitter. But, I can see that there is some benefit in having it, in the sense that some of the du'at, that is their only outlet to tell you when the next lecture or the next dars or the next audio is going to be released. So I understand, or the next book is going to be released. So I can see the benefit in that, as long as you are only following the mashayikh, the scholars, and the marakis of Salafiyya and the masajid of Salafiyya. I can see the benefit in that. But when you go to YouTube and you listen to a clip, even if it's a clip of a sheikh, as soon as the clip finishes, 4 thumbnails appear in that screen. And they're drawing you in. They're drawing you in. And then on the side, they've already figured out through algorithms what's the kind of thing that you are interested in. And that's only there because they know you're interested in it, because they've gathered your history. So you say, well, I don't really bother with that. They can't get through to my mind. But they've already done it, because through your behavior on YouTube, they've already figured out what you like and what you don't like. So for example, if you are trying to fix the wiring in your house and you looked at 20 wiring videos, because you think that you can do your own wiring. So now when you look at the columns on the side, it's all about wiring, electricians, screw fix and B&Q and all of these kind of things. That's what, because they know they're following you. When you leave YouTube and you go somewhere else looking for some shoes, so you go to a website, you're looking for shoes, and on the side you say screw fix, cheap radiators, cheap wires, cheap. Why? Because it's following you through. The account that you're using and the device that you're using is monitoring your behavior. Right? Because they know what you want. Sometimes you could be talking to your family about going on holiday. Well, I think we should go to Wales next week. So you're checking your email, and it's got holidays in Swansea. You think, oh, we were looking for that. That's a bit of a coincidence. It's not coincidence. Devices are listening to you. They're picking up keywords, because that's how things are right now. So if that's how it is for them to entice you and to draw you in, imagine how easy it is for a youth to be drawn in who watches TikTok constantly and YouTube. Drawing him in. Right? So he becomes a recluse. To him, he's a socialite. Why is he a socialite? Because I've got 600 friends online. So to him, he's socially active. I've got loads of friends. He's never met any of them. But to him, he's got loads of friends. He's got, huge friend base. So his mother thinks, oh, my son, he doesn't talk to me, father, he doesn't talk to me. I don't know what's wrong with him. He's become a recluse. I wonder if he's got jinn. Maybe he needs ruqyah. Maybe he does. But he's not actually a recluse. To him, he's actually a socialite. Because there's 600 people who know him and maybe 2,000 that follow him. And he's always uploading the latest image of himself. Here's my new haircut. Here's my, I went to Costa Coffee and so on. Here's me in Starbucks. Here's my new Nikes, and look at my foot. And, this is what they do. But the problem with that is that, at some stage, it's kind of like a bit light-hearted and tongue-in-cheek, but actually underlying it is something that is very serious. And that is that you will not be successful. Not in your deen, not in your dunya, not in your honor. Because there's no benefit in them, or the benefit in them is very minimal. So get rid of, if you want to do something tonight, Take your phones, delete TikTok and all useless social media applications. Delete them. If you need to go somewhere, go through the browser. Download a VPN so that it's hard for them to follow you and figure out what you're doing. One day they think you're in America, next day they think you're in Canada, third day they think you're in South Africa. So they don't know. VPN just hides your location. Get a VPN on your phones, so it's harder for them to figure out your movements and your track, to track you and where you're coming from. And keep changing. So now you're a moving target, so they can't algorithm you so easily. So they can't pull you in and try to tempt you with things that you've already followed, because they know, they begin to figure out your weaknesses. And that's why a person who's watching, half-naked women or naked women on his internet, everywhere he's going, he's seeing naked women. So it's drawing him into sin, just like a gambler. So these things become addictive. And it's not just the issue, not just the media platform that is addictive, it's everything peripheral that comes with it that becomes part of the whole system that pulls you in. So you have to think about, your future, your children's future. You're a married man and doing that. Married men, you got 2 kids and you're all day long, you're not doing anything beneficial. You're just all day long, okay, what's Harry up to today? What's Meghan up to today? And what's this one up to? Oh, Charles is, okay, yeah, really? That's what it's all about. And that's possibly if you want to say, the least of the problems. Because it becomes worse, because then it begins to draw you in as an individual into some of the, rebellious, because in the 70s and 80s and 90s, if you wanted to rebel, I'm just talking about the average Brit, you'd become, a mud, a punk, a rocker. These were just some of the genres of that age. You'd become a Rasta even. You have white people walking around with dreadlocks and so on, because that was rebellion. Or you'd become a biker. So you walk around with a leather jacket and you got a big bike because you want to rebel against your parents. So most kids grow out of it. They between the ages of, let's say, 15 up to about 19, then they enter into an apprenticeship. They say, oh, you know what, I've got to get a job now. And I can't go to work with these silly clothes on and purple hair. So they go back to normality. Why? Because all they have to do is cut their hair and it's gone. Rebelling today is to sex change, hormone treatment. So now you want to rebel against society. So now they want to, so a boy or a girl will come along and say, well, I'm going to change my sex. But the problem with that is that now you have to take hormone treatment, surgery. And now that becomes irreversible. By the time she's 17 or 18, she has her breasts removed. Or the man has his genitals removed. So it's not like in the 70s he just takes off the leather jacket and puts on a normal coat and goes to work. What's she going to do? What's he going to do? Because rebelliousness now has become extremely, it's become extremely sinister. And it's become something that is, out of the ballpark. It's something that has never been done before in history, where you physically and mentally and hormonally change your whole body. And all of this is rooted in the spread of this type of misinformation and these, toxic ideologies through social media.